Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. All right, welcome everybody to the Fantasy Super Bowl Hangout for Week 16, the final one of the season. So much on the line. It's been great carrying you this far. Sorry for the few minutes late start today. I had to get a few technical items out of the way, but ready to go, and let's help you win it all. That's why we've been here all this year. So let's get to it. Need to DeMarco Murray, Asiata, Vincent Jackson, Latavius Murray, or Landry. Which two if Murray doesn't play? DeMarco Murray is expected to play. My second choice would be Vincent Jackson. Really like his matchup against Green Bay. If for some reason Murray doesn't play, I would use Latavius Murray, but DeMarco Murray is expected to play right now, so I would pencil him in. Keep an eye on the homepage, the expert eye with Tim McCullough. Need one, please, in a PPR. Mason, Hill, or Crowell. I would go Trey Mason. Really like his matchup for the upside against the New York Giants, and he plays even better at home than he does on the road. I have T.Y. Hilton. If he plays, do I start Hilton? Should I start Moncrief or Doug Baldwin in his place? It's not looking good for Hilton to go, and I think he's kind of risky. I would say when you're in doubt, you always go with your healthy player, and I'm going to go with Donde Moncrief. Right now, some reports are indicating that it would be surprising if T.Y. Hilton plays. LaFell, Heron, or Landry if Hilton doesn't play, which doesn't look good. I'll go Brandon LaFell against that Jets pass defense. I think it's a really good matchup for him, especially with Edelman out. I think he'll be busier. Russell Wilson or Alex Smith, I'll go Russell Wilson. I don't think there's a ton of upside, but he's definitely a better fantasy quarterback than Alex Smith. Got to go with your best in the fantasy championship. The Ravens or the Lions, I like these two a lot, but I think the Lions are a better defense overall, so I'm going to go with the Lions. Fred Jackson, Heron, or Vincent Jackson. It's not going to be Heron. It comes down to Fred Jackson or Vincent Jackson with me, and I think there's more statistical upside for Vincent Jackson. That's what I'm going to go with. Need one in a PPR. Benjamin, Charles Johnson, or Vincent Jackson. Again, I like Vincent Jackson a lot against the Packers secondary that's been getting burned a lot lately. Landry or Gordon, I just can't recommend Gordon right now. He missed so much of the season. He's got Manziel at quarterback. He hasn't shown us a lot. I'm going to go with Landry. He's safer. Tannehill or Flacco? I'll go Flacco. That Houston secondary can be burned by big plays. I like the Ravens offense today. I think the Houston defense is going to spend a lot of time on the field. Alex Smith or Orton? I'll go Alex Smith. The Pittsburgh secondary not too good. Ryan or Romo? Think it's going to be a higher scoring game with Atlanta and New Orleans. I'm going to go Ryan. Gordon, Moncrief, Charles Johnson. I'm going to go Charles Johnson there, especially if he gets matched up against Cortland Finnegan. I like what he'll do there. Need one. Joik Bell, Heron, Crowell, Andre Williams, or Pierre Thomas. Definitely Joik Bell. He's become the lead running back there, and it's a very good matchup for him. Need one in a non-PPR. Jonathan Stewart, Vereen, or Asiata. I'm going to go Jonathan Stewart with D'Angelo Williams out. Tannehill or Alex Smith? I'll go Smith. I think he's a safer play. Jeremy Hill or Trey Mason? I like Trey Mason more for the upside. Denver, Cleveland, or Minnesota? I think Minnesota is the best there. Status of Emmanuel Sanders? There's no reason to worry about Emmanuel Sanders. Little worried about Forte based on matchup and quarterback. Need three of these guys in a PPR: Forte, C.J. Anderson, Latavius Murray, or Heron. I couldn't bench Forte for Murray or Heron. He's a fantasy superstar. I go Forte, Anderson, and Murray. And you can worry about the matchup. It all depends on what your other options are. Unless you got maybe somebody like a Mark Ingram or somebody like that, or a Jeremy Hill. I don't consider benching Forte at all. Wide receiver, running back, and two flex. Ingram, Forsett, Murray, Trey, Jonathan Stewart, Jarvis Landry, and Josh Gordon. Your one wide receiver is going to be Andrew Jarvis Landry, safer than Josh Gordon. Love Ingram to score more than one touchdown. I'll go Forsett and Trey Mason in your flexes. Julio, Douglas, Vincent Jackson, and Fred Jackson. I wouldn't risk Julio today. He's the one I would bench. Even if he plays, even if Julio plays, you don't know how effective he's going to be or if he's even going to finish the game. It's too risky. Kelsey or Julius Thomas, Donnell or Cameron. I don't like either one. I get Owen Daniels if I could, but I'll take my shot with Cameron. He has Alex Smith. Doesn't matter who the other team has, Kelsey or Julius Thomas. I'll go Julius Thomas. Pats or Buffalo defense. Buffalo is the number one of the week. Never matters who your opponent has. Don't worry about that. You don't base your lineup decisions on that. Ben Roethlisberger or Romo. I'll go Roethlisberger for more upside. Need a flex out of Vereen, Jonas Gray, or Murray. Murray gives you the most touches and upside. Buffalo or Green Bay. Buffalo is my top defense of the week. Rams, Packers, and Panthers. The Rams are the number one defense in fantasy football, my number two overall this week. Mike Evans or Vincent Jackson. Evan gives you a better shot of a score. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Moncrief, Landry, Charles Johnson, Lamar Miller, Julius Thomas, or Boom Heron. I'll go Julius Thomas now that he's got his second game back under his belt. And I'll go Charles Johnson's been playing pretty well. Need two between Peyton Manning, Bridgewater, and McCown. Obviously, Peyton Manning. I think McCown's going to surprise some people and throw at least two touchdown passes today. Kelsey or Cameron. Definitely Kelsey is safer. Rams or Panthers. Rams are the best defense in fantasy football. Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, or Giants. The Vikings are the best unit there. They're just the best quality unit. They can keep the score down, maybe get a turnover or two. Start Julio if he starts? No. How does he do? Douglas worth playing if Julio starts? I would not risk it with Julio. I really wouldn't. He hasn't practiced all week. I'm not buying into this. It's too risky. I'd rather go with healthy players in a fantasy Super Bowl. With DeMarco Murray, at least we've seen him practice this week. Julio hasn't even practiced. Need two between Foster, Forsett, Hill, Mason, Randall, and PPR. Foster and Forsett are Must starts regardless of matchup. Stafford and Matt Ryan love Stafford against the Bears today. At least 2 touchdown passes. This is a big game. The Lions need it. I love Matthew Stafford. I'm rolling him out there in a few dailies too. Need one wide receiver and a flex. Kelvin Benjamin, Latavius Murray, Crowell, Marcus Wilson. Latavius Murray for most carries and upside, and Benjamin is the best of your rest. Buffalo is St. Louis. Buffalo's my number 1 defense of the week. That championship level defense against Derek Carr, gotta like it. Need 3 in a PPR: Beckham, White, Benjamin, and Gordon. I would Gordon, Jimbo's risky there. I would bench him. Need 3 wide receivers out of Alshon Jeffrey, Vincent Jackson, Moncrief, Harry Douglas, T.Y. Hilton. Hilton not expected to play. I would go Jackson, Moncrief, and Douglas. Have Martellus Bennett. I can get Jared Cook thoughts. When Clausen wants to make the safe throws, he's going to make them to Bennett. I'll take Bennett. Pick 1 in standard. Joseph Randle, Pierre Thomas, Charles Johnson, Bo, and Beasley. I'll definitely go Charles Johnson there. Pick 1 from Jeremy Hill and Fred Jackson. Just love the matchup for Fred Jackson. Cardinals, Vikings, and Panthers. The Panthers have been playing really well, and they face Johnny Manziel. Do 2 between Nelson and Beckham. I'll stop there. Jordy and Beckham. DeMarco Murray or Randall, worried about Murray with his surgically repaired hand. I don't think Randall's going to get enough work. I don't think you can start Randall over him. Murray is ticketed to start. You go with him. PPR, Dolan or Fleener? I don't know who Dolan is. Oh, Donnell or Fleener. I would go Fleener. Just Larry Donnell's become non-existent. 1 wide receiver and a flex: Charles Johnson, Julio Jones, Fleener, Vereen, and Randall. I would go Charles Johnson and Vereen. 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and a flex. And a defense. This is for Eli. Okay, you need a running back. Forte's a must start, regardless who's quarterback or matchup. You don't bench your superstars in the fantasy Super Bowl. 2 wide receivers. Loving LaFell with the matchup, and I'll also go with Charles Johnson. He's been playing really well. Tight end, I'm going to go Dwayne Allen for sure, especially with Hilton hurting. And at your flex, I'm going to go Trey Mason for the matchup and the upside. And defense, definitely Carolina. 2 wide receivers in a flex: Vincent Jackson, Jeffrey Landry, Kerwin Williams, Vereen, Joseph Randall. Vincent Jackson, definitely. I'll stick with Jeffrey there. Clausen knows who his go-to guy is. And at flex, I think Landry is your safest. Pierre Thomas or Vereen, I'll go Pierre Thomas in the high-scoring game. 2 wide receivers and a flex: Odell Beckham Jr., he's a must-start. Vincent Jackson, Douglas, Asadia. I go Beckham Jr. and Vincent Jackson. I think it's going to be a good day for Vincent Jackson. Need a defense between Arizona, Miami, Denver, Carolina. Carolina's playing really well and faces Manziel. Breeze is set. Play Dalton Orton to pick up McCown. I would go with McCown. I think you're going to get at least 2 touchdown passes from him. Green Bay secondary hasn't played too well recently, and they're facing some tall receivers. Looks like Hilton is a long shot. Moncrief, Andre, or Torrey Smith, or Charles Johnson. I just can't trust Andre Johnson. He hasn't played well this year overall. I think Charles Johnson is your safest, and Moncrief gives you the most upside. I prefer Johnson. Need 2. Roddy White must start. Benjamin, Gordon, Fred Jackson. I'll go Fred Jackson against Oakland along with Roddy White. Daniels, Miller, Clay, Rivera, Donnell, Wright. I'm going to go Daniels against his former team. He's one wide receiver: Kelvin Benjamin, DeAndre Hopkins, Harry Douglas, Josh Gordon. Played Matthews yesterday. Thought he would get a touchdown. Well, didn't happen. Can't kick yourself. It's one player, one game. Uh, I would go with Harry Douglas, even if Julio does play. Kicker between Crosby, Barth, or Tucker. Uh, I think I'll go Crosby in the good weather there. Herron and Latavius Murray. I go Murray for more guaranteed touches and upside. Two wide receivers and a flex at a Jeffrey Gordon, Julio Stills, Roddy Ingram, Hill. Uh, Two wide receivers. I will go with Roddy White, Kenny Stills, and Mark Ingram. Fleener or Olsen. Olsen is safer. Need one of these: Julio, Douglas Gordon, Joseph Randle, and Jeremy Hill. I'll go Jeremy Hill for the most volume and guaranteed touches there. Flex: Vincent Jackson, Benjamin, Jeremy Hill, or Charles Johnson. Uh, I'll go Vincent Jackson. I'm really liking him this week. Down 21 in a non-PPR league. Don't worry about that, Jim. Just your players haven't played yet. Don't worry about an early deficit. Starting Calvin and AJ Green. Need two running backs in the flex from Hill, Trey Mason, Latavius, Herron, Olson, Josh Gordon. Also have Hilton. It looks unlikely. Trey Mason, love him for the upside. Hill for the volume and game script. And I'll also go Latavius Murray for the most work there. Need two: Kelvin Benjamin, Trey Mason, Roddy White. Trey Mason with a good matchup and a lot of upside, and Roddy White with a good matchup and a high-scoring game. Harry Douglas or Landry. I'll go Harry Douglas. Even Julio plays is going to be heavily involved. C.J. Anderson and Jeremy Hill. C.J. Anderson's a must-start. Seattle or the Rams, very close, but I'm going to take the Rams for more sacks and turnovers. Projections on Douglas today: 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. 2 out of 4. Fred Jackson, Murray, Trey Mason, Joyke Bell. Really like the matchup a lot for Trey Mason with the upside. And I'm going to go Joyke Bell over Fred Jackson. Hauschka, Matt Bryant, definitely Hauschka. Romo or Brady. Love Brady against the Jets. One wide receiver, one flex, non-PPR. Evans, Roddy White, Joseph Randle, assuming T.Y. sits. I am going to go Evans and White for sure. Need 2 or 3 from Forte, Ingram, and Vincent Jackson. I'm going to stick with Forte, and I really like Ingram to score more than once today. More sacks today: Mario against Raiders, Chandler Jones against the Jets. I'm probably going to go Mario Williams there. Need 2 running backs. This for Brad. DeMarco Murray, got to start him since he plays. Lacey, definitely a must start. Not worried about Emmanuel Sanders. He's going to play. Trey Mason in the flex for the upside. Need a flex between Hill, Mason, Randall, Moncrief, Harry Douglas, Golden Tate, and LaFell. I think Golden Tate's your safest play. Heath Miller or Dwayne Allen. Definitely Dwayne Allen. With Hilton out, Reggie Wayne scaled back, I think Allen gets really involved. Need a flex: Dan Herron, Latavius Murray, Joseph Randle. If Murray is out, Murray looks like he's going to play. Harry Douglas, if Julio is out, Julio looks like he's going to play. But I am going to go with Harry Douglas. I think even if Julio plays, he's not going to be very effective. Stafford or Ryan, does a Detroit clinching wild card lower Stafford's value? No, they still have to play for the division. I definitely go Stafford. Need one: Crowell, Fred Jackson, or Joseph Randle in standard scoring. Like the matchup a lot for Fred Jackson. For the win, need one for flex: Vincent Jackson, Moncrief, Landry, Doug Martin, or Randall. I'm going to go Vincent Jackson. I've been saying all along I like him a lot today. Need one: Hilton, Moncrief, Bryan, and Hopkins. Hilton unlikely to play. So I'm going to lean Moncrief right now. Sammy Watkins, Hilton, Stills, Moncrief, pick 2. I will go Stills and Moncrief. Need 2, Harry Douglas, Crowell, Decker, Pierre Thomas, Amendola. I don't trust Amendola. Opportunity doesn't always lead to production. It won't for Amendola. I'm going to go Harry Douglas and Pierre Thomas. Danella, Rudolph. Got to go with the healthy player. Rudolph's not expected to play. Mason, Heron, or Vereen. Definitely Mason. Like him a lot against the Giants. Douglas over Torrey Smith, regardless if Julio plays. I'm going to lean Torrey Smith there. The knee's not a problem and really like that matchup. Need 2 running backs between Ingram, Lacey, Latavius Murray, Jonathan Stewart, or Randall. Definitely Ingram and Lacey. Need a flex. Steven Jackson, Andre Williams, Corral, Latavius Murray. Murray for the most upside. Concerned about Pierre Thomas's presence as well as Robinson's return to health. Please help me decide between Ingram and Mason. I think you're overanalyzing it, Coach. Pierre Thomas does not play the same role as Ingram. He's more involved in the passing game, and he's a change of pace back. Kyrie Robinson's only there for breathers. Ingram's still going to play a large role. Julio plays what he sees his workload beating. Projected numbers in standard, Mike, it's a total crapshoot. It's about pain tolerance. Any projections I throw out there are total crapshoot. I would not use them. Big Ben or McCown, definitely Roethlisberger, better fantasy quarterback. Cardinals or Packers. I think the Cardinals keep the points down more, but the Packers give you better chance for sacks and turnovers. So that there's your depending on what you're looking for, I would use the Cardinals to keep the points down, but Seattle doesn't turn it over much. If you're looking for just for the sacks and turnovers, I go Green Bay. If it's a combination of both, I'd stick Arizona. Need 2, Latavius Murray, Heron, or Mike Wallace. I'd bench Wallace there. Rams or Cardinals D. The Rams is the best defense in fantasy football. Need 1 for my flex. Forsett, Sadia, Moncrief, Douglas, Amendola, Jonas Gray. Definitely Forsett. Jeremy Hill, Heron, Gio, Randall. Need 2. I wouldn't use Gio and Randall. Prater, Bailey, Martavis Bryant. Definitely Bailey. Lions or the Pats. Got to go Lions against Clausen. Cardinals and Carolina. Carolina's playing really well, and they face Manziel. Have Julio and T.Y. on bench. Have Baldwin, Beasley, Bo, Hester, James Jones, Hakeem Nicks, and Albert Wilson. If Julio plays, I think I have to play him. Any of these over T.Y., even if he plays. Those are such bad picks that I would probably chance it with Julio and T.Y. And although in most cases I wouldn't. And somehow your name is Jets fan. You know, if you stop rooting for that team, maybe you have better luck. Need you to pick 3 in a PPR. Pick 3 out of Lamar Miller, Forte, Pierre Thomas, and Trey Mason. Definitely benching Pierre Thomas out of those, although I do kind of like him today. Need 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and a flex. DeMarco Murray, Andre Williams, Trey Mason, Steven Jackson, T.Y. Hilton. He's out. Very likely. Josh Gordon, not considering him. Murray plays. You use him. I guess you have to go with Josh Gordon there. And definitely Trey Mason in the flex. 2 wide receivers between Jackson, Evans, Landry, Douglas, Andre Johnson, Moncrief. I would, you don't want to lean too much on one team, so I would go with Evans and Moncrief. Seattle or Green Bay, definitely Seattle are the better defense. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Have all 3 Atlanta wide receivers. Play either LaFell and Gordon. I would go with White and LaFell. Dwayne Allen or Moncrief. If Hilton out, I think Dwayne Allen gives you a better shot of a score. Fleener or Allen or Bennett, definitely Dwayne Allen. Minnesota, Carolina. Carolina's playing very well again. Go against Manziel. Gotta like them. Rams or Pats. Rams is best defense in fantasy football. Rams or Browns, same thing. Ravens and Packers. Gotta like the Ravens against Keenum. Choose 4 standard. Hill, Mason, Fred Jackson, No, cried. Pierre Thomas, Gio, Randall if Murray doesn't play. I'm assuming Murray's playing. I will go with Hill, Mason, Fred Jackson, and Pierre Thomas. Considering the news of DeMarco's time sharing and the Eagles' loss, need two to fill in at running back and flex out of the following: DeMarco, Joseph Randall, Trey Mason, Latavius Murray. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, let's get back to your questions here. Considering the news of DeMarco Murray time sharing and the Eagles' loss, need two to fill running back and a flex. I don't know how much of a timeshare it's going to be. Maybe they'll take him out of pass protection, but you still got to play Murray, and I'll go with Mason for the upside. Don't overanalyze it. Dwayne Allen or Bennett, love Allen today. Are Jordy and Cobb must starts this week despite what happened last week? They're not playing the Bills this week. They play the Buccaneers. They are must starts. Forget about last week. I have Charles Clay. Would you cut Joseph Randall for Owen Daniels? I would just cut Clay. It's a Super Bowl. Use Owen Daniels in the revenge game. Gordon or Mason, definitely Mason. Need one Ingram, Mason, or Jonathan Stewart. Ingram could score more than once. G-Funk era, your two running backs are Trey Mason, Latavius Murray. You need a wide receiver. I will go with Kelvin Benjamin and go with Harry Douglas in your flex. Big game for Gray with Blunt out. Can't count on it. You never know. You might see a big game from Shane Vereen or maybe even Brandon Bolden. Kelsey, Allen, Fleener, or Clay. I slightly lean Kelsey there. Bennett or Julius Thomas, definitely Julius Thomas. Need one for my flex. Heron, Vereen, LaFell, Benjamin, or Gordon. I'm going to go LaFell against that Jets pass defense. But Blunt out and Jets not that good against pass catching running backs. We can go Vereen or Landry in a non PPR. I would go Landry. I just think he's safer in any scoring system. Latavius Murray or Vincent Jackson. Love Vincent Jackson's matchup today. Cleveland or Baltimore, definitely Baltimore. Need two. Jeremy Hill, Gio, Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush, Kerwin Williams, and Spiller. I'm definitely going Jeremy Hill and Pierre Thomas there. Trey Mason or Joyke Bell. I like Trey for more upside. Jets fan comment, love it. Lamar Miller, Trey Mason, love the matchup for Mason's got good upside. Would you call me crazy for benching Torrey Smith for Marcus Wilson? Figured he and Clausen would have chemistry since practicing with the second team. Juan, you're overanalyzing. That's what a lot of people do in a fantasy Super Bowl. Don't overanalyze. Go with your best players. Do not bench Torrey Smith. He faces a very vulnerable pass defense. I'm rolling it out there in two dailies. Kobe Fleener or Greg Olsen. Olsen is safer. I have DeMarco Murray and Joseph Randall. We use Jeremy Hill over Murray if he plays, or Hill over Randall if Murray doesn't play. Looks like Murray's going to play, so I would just use Murray. Jets comment stung a little bit. Just kidding you there. Kick a question, Prater, Graham. I definitely go Prater. Just messing with you there, Jets fan. Do I play Josh Gordon or Kenny Stills? Definitely Stills. Need a tight end of Clay or Donnell. Donnell's totally disappeared. Good luck to you today, Jeff. Mason, Jeremy Hill, Vincent Jackson, Wallace, Charles Johnson, Moncrief. Pick two. Love Mason's matchup today, and I think Vincent Jackson's going to have a very good day. Own Vinatieri and played him all year. Is there anyone else who might be better for this week? Crosby, Carpenter, Barth. I really like Vinatieri because with some of those injuries on offense, they could stall in the red zone while still moving the ball. 1.30 kick return yardage. You need two between Landry, Vincent Jackson, Evans, Douglas, Andre Johnson, and Moncrief. I'm going to go. I wouldn't go with two Buccaneers, so I would go with Vincent Jackson and Moncrief. I'm sorry, Evans and Moncrief. Two running backs and a flex for a Booyaka. Trey Mason, love the matchup. Mark Ingram could score more than once. And Emmanuel Sanders for sure. Colts or Packers, I'll definitely go the Packers there. The 2 of 3, Ingram, Trey Mason, Joyke Bell. I like all three of these, but Trey for the most upside and Ingram for the best shot of a touchdown. Rivera or Clay. Rivera, Clay hasn't done anything. It's a bad matchup for Rivera, but I trust him a little bit more. Need one for my flex. Mason, Jonathan Stewart, Stills, LaFell, or Douglas. I will go with Stills in a high-scoring game. Thoughts on Peyton Manning? I think you get 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. What are you going to do? You're going to bench him? Lost Cutler, picked up Flacco over Alex Smith. Just trust Flacco. Good decision. I'd rather use Alex Smith. Plays really well in December, and that Pittsburgh pass defense is pretty sorry. Hauschka or Matt Bryant? Hauschka. Pats or Packers? Pats are the better fantasy unit. Newton or Dalton? I think Newton's safer. Trust Colston today over Douglas, Charles Johnson, Moncrief, Torrey Smith, Dwayne Allen, K-Mac. I'm not sure what your question means there. Please rephrase it and resubmit. One running back and one flex. DeMarco Randall, Jeremy Hill, Trey Mason, Latavius Murray. DeMarco plays, got to use him. Trey Mason, love the matchup against the Giants. Packers or Lions, love the Lions against Jimmy Clausen. The 2 wide receivers, Gordon, Stills, Moncrief, Charles Johnson. I'm going to go Stills in a high-scoring game, and Charles Johnson's been playing well. Choose 2 from Ivory, Douglas, Colston, or Devontae Adams. Your best 2 are Douglas and Colston. I could start Michael Floyd or Ruben Randall over Crowell. Need upside. You're not going to get upside from those guys. You might as well stick with Crowell. Jonas Gray or Randall with Blunt out, Murray playing. Jonas Gray possibly in line for more touches. Dan Bailey or squeeze him. Like them both. I'm going to lean squeeze him. Double figures in 3 of the last 4. Steve Smith, Stills, Vincent Jackson, Harry Douglas, Roddy White need 2. Love Roddy White against the New Orleans Saints. And Vincent Jackson, very good matchup for him today. Cameron or Rivera. Rivera is safer. Russell Wilson or Cam Newton. I think Russell Wilson only gives you a little bit more rushing upside. Stills, Landry, and Latavius Murray. I'll go Stills for the matchup and Murray for the upside. Need one in standard scoring. Gordon, Harry Douglas, Charles Johnson. I will go Charles Johnson. He is playing very well. Playing against Alex Smith, I have Peyton. Your projections on Smith. Tell you what, Amy. Don't worry who the other side has. You can only worry about your own lineup. Don't worry about Alex Smith. Amy, I'm going to do you a favor and not even give you projections. Only worry about your own lineup. You can't control the other lineup. You got enough to worry about with your own. Don't overthink it, Amy. Peyton Manning's going to have a pretty good night tomorrow night. It's national television. Don't worry about Alex Smith. And even if his quarterback outscores yours, that doesn't mean they win the game. Stills, Moncrief, Torrey Smith. Love Stills for the matchup. I think Torrey Smith's a little bit of a safer play than Moncrief. Choose 4 standard. Hill, Mason, Fred Jackson, Moncrief, Pierre Thomas, Gio. Let's see. Love Mason versus the Giants. Hill will give you a lot of work, like Fred Jackson a lot, and I'll take Moncrief for the upside. Landry or Moncrief in a PPR. I think Landry is a safer play. Moncrief's kind of boom or bust. Need a flex between Landry, Vincent Jackson, Douglas, Andre Johnson, Stewart, Latavius Murray, Randall. I'm going to go Vincent Jackson. I really like him against that secondary of Green Bay today. If Hilton or Julio Jones doesn't go, need two, Douglas, Wallace, and Bailey. I'm going to say Douglas should be heavily involved, and I like Stedman Bailey's matchup. Need two running backs, two wide receivers, and a flex for Paul. C.J. Anderson's a must start. Murray for the upside. Stills love the matchup. Sanders remains a top start, and I'll go Landry in your flex. Vereen or Jonathan Stewart. I think Stewart's guaranteed more touches, and I like the matchup. Stills, LaFell, or Mason. I really like all three of these, but I feel like Stills against the Falcons is just too good of a matchup to ignore. Projections for Colston, is he better play than Moncrief or Harry Douglas? He's a safer play. I'm saying about 4 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. Eli, love your handiwork, even though you gave me traffic of trading Cobb and Benjamin for Jamal Charles. Good luck, Eli. I hope you win it all today. Gordon or Fred Jackson. Fred Jackson for sure. Love his matchup. Can't rely on Gordon at all with Manziel at quarterback. Need two in a PPR. Martellus Bennett, Dwayne Allen, Marcus Wilson, James Starks. I'm not even factoring Starks in. Definitely Bennett and Allen. Those guys will be in line for the most work. Who do you think picks up the most worst with Edelman out for the Pats? I think lots of Gronk and lots of LaFell. Maybe some Vereen. Hopkins definitely out. Believe it or not, I made the final with him as my wide receiver too. If he's out, I'm stuck playing Martavius Bryant. We won't find out at least for another hour or so. Keep an eye on the expert eye on the homepage. It hasn't been announced yet. He's going to be a game time decision. Maybe something he's got to test in warm ups. You're probably going to have to go with Bryant. Julio Jones or Stills today. If I got Stills, there's no way I'm using Jones. It's just too risky. Love the matchup for Stills. Thank you, Juan, and good luck. I hope you win it this week. Okay, we're all caught up here. Mason Gordon or Lamar Miller again. I love Trey Mason against the Giants. Plays well at home, and there's lots of upside there. Need wide receiver and a flex. Julio Jones, Asadia, Benjamin, Torrey Smith, Martavis Bryant. Wouldn't use Julio. I go with Benjamin and Torrey Smith. Why the level of Marco Murray? Bills D will be all over Carr, stack the box against Murray. The Bills' run defense hasn't looked that good recently. I don't think it's that simple. For Alamo Scouts, two running backs and a flex. C.J. Anderson is a must start. I would go with Trey Mason against the Giants, and I would use Murray in the flex. If he goes, you got to use him. I'm already starting Evans. Need a flex between Landry, Vincent Jackson, Douglas, Andre Johnson, Stewart, Latavius Murray, Randall. I believe I answered this already. I like Latavius Murray for the work and the upside. Gio, Heron, Doug Martin. If Murray is out, I also have Randall. I'm thinking of Heron and Martin if Murray plays. Or Heron and Randall if Murray doesn't play. It looks like Murray is going to play. So I would go with Doug Martin. Hope he does well against that Packers run defense. And Herron started Reed last night. Standard scoring. Need one flex with upside. It's one player in one game. Just because one guy didn't perform doesn't mean you need a ton of upside from the rest of your lineup. You just go with your best guys. Herron, Randall, Wallace, Moncrief, Brian, Harry, Douglas, and Landry. Murray's probably going to play, so I wouldn't wait for that. I would probably go with Moncrief here. You want the upside? I'll give you upside. Moncrief. Corella, Pierre Thomas. If it's a, I'm going to go Crowell. They need to establish him to take pressure off the quarterback. Kelsey or Julius, I'll go Julius still. He's got one game under his belt from last week. I think he gets more involved in the offensive flow. Prater, Brian, Hauschka, or Sturgis. I'm going to go Hauschka. Kelly in Tampa, how you doing, girl? Long time. Let's see. One running back and a flex. I will go with Murray for the most upside. And flex, I am going to go with Moncrief for now. Benjamin LaFell, is it possible Hayden won't go today? Looks like Hayden's going to play. I like LaFell a lot. I like LaFell a lot against that Jets pass defense, especially with Edelman out. Need two, Asiata Miller and Andre Williams. I would leave Andre Williams out there. He's mediocre. Giants might have to abandon the running game at some point. Need two or three, Roddy White, Jeremy Hill, and Mark Ingram. Love Roddy White against the Saints. Mark Ingram could score more than once. What's your thoughts on Herron? Could he get more involved in the passing game with Hilton out? Not too much. I think that's overanalyzing it. I think he's a good flex. If Hilton sits, which it looks like it's going to happen, need a wide receiver to flex from White, Douglas, or Martavis Bryant. I just roll with the two Falcons. Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson. Roethlisberger will give you more upside today. Starting Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham. I have Alshon as well, but benching him over the other three due to the Clausen effect. I agree with that. You got other quality options. Need two, Latavius Murray, Moncrief, Marcus Wilson, and Fleener. I definitely go Latavius Murray for most work and upside, and Moncrief with Hilton not looking good. Dalton or Tannehill, I can pick up Manziel. No, don't pick up Manziel. Tannehill's safer. If you can get McCown or Sean Hill, I would use one of them, but I'll go Tannehill. All right, we're all caught up here. Roddy White, Stills, LaFell. Need two. I like all three of these receivers. You got to go with Roddy. I think Stills has more upside than LaFell today. Cleveland and Carolina. Carolina's playing really well and they face Manziel. Need a wide receiver. Marcus Williams, Moncrief, Martavis Bryant, and Decker. With T.Y. Hilton looking iffy, I definitely go down to Moncrief. Wide receiver and a flex. Julio, no. Douglas, Wallace, Herron, Latavius Murray. Good luck, CM. The wide receiver, I will go Douglas, even if Julio plays. I think he'll be heavily involved. And the flex, I'm going to go Latavius Murray for the most work. Baltimore defense of Detroit. This is very, very close. Detroit is the better overall unit. Vinatieri or Matt Bryant, stick with Vinatieri. Stills, Watkins, Moncrief. Pick two. I'm going to go Stills and Moncrief. Would you rather have today? Amendola or Wright in the Pats passing game? Amendola just shown us nothing. I'll gamble with Wright for a TD. Asiata or Anthony Dixon? Asiata is heavily involved in that offense. Dixon is not. Spiller's back today. If Hilton is out, Moncrief or Stills. I think Stills is less boomer bust than Moncrief. Thanks for all the great advice and the entertainment. Are there any playoff challenges on Roto Experts? Tell Ronas hi, Amy. We're not a game provider. We're a content site, but we will give you advice for your playoff leagues, including the NFL.com playoff challenge. Rams or Ravens? Rams are the number one defense in fantasy football, number two overall behind just Buffalo for me this week. One running back, one flex, one wide receiver, Gordon, Herron, Julius Thomas, Benjamin, Fred Jackson. Running back, I'll go Fred Jackson against the Raiders. Wide receiver, Benjamin definitely over Gordon, and flex Herron for the most possible touches. Lions or Rams, uh, I like both of them, but I'm going to slightly lean the Rams for more sacks and turnovers, or at least more sacks. I need one from Matt Asiata, Vincent Jackson, and Josh Gordon. Like Vincent Jackson a lot against those Green Bay cornerbacks. Douglas really a better play than Moncrief, Colston, Charles Johnson, regardless if Julio plays. I'm really warming up to Moncrief with Hilton out. I'm going to go Moncrief. Which wide receiver? T.Y. Hilton, can't use him. A.J. Green, Mike Evans, also on Jeffrey, Harry Douglas. Pick three. I'm going to leave out Jeffrey. Well, actually, A.J. Green's a must start. Mike Evans a must start. So it comes down to Jeffrey or Harry Douglas, and still got to stick with Jeffrey there. If Julio plays, is he going to be a decoy today? I think it's more of a thing of not being I think it's a thing of not being a decoy as much as like, can he make it through and how effective will he be? Can he even play the whole game? So I would use him. Please wear the king hat next week. There is no next week, K-Mat. This is it. You're playing in week 17. I don't support that. It's ridiculous. Uh, if Julio plays, is Douglas still an okay start? Yes, because who knows if Julio even finished the game. Defense from Green Bay, St. Louis, Miami, Carolina, easily the Rams. My 6-year-old son is watching you, wanted to know if you had to go to the bathroom. Thanks for spending your Sundays with us. Sure. I think there's only once or twice this season where I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I usually do it before and after. Dan Herron, Murray, or Harry Douglas. I'll go Murray for most guaranteed touches and upside. I decided to play Herron over Gore, regretting that this morning. Didn't see that coming. Should have emailed you. Drew, don't kick yourself. Herron didn't even play yet. And the way Gore was playing, nobody could have seen that coming. Pierre Thomas to Herron. I like Pierre today, but Herron could probably get more rushing touches. Chris Ivory, Andre Williams, Andre Holmes, Terrence Williams. I'm going to go Andre Williams there. He'll start for the Giants at least, and nobody else is sharing the touches. Detroit or St. Louis, the Rams are the best defense in fantasy football. Alshon Jeffrey, Harry Douglas, or Moncrief. I'm still going to stick Jeffrey there for the best shot of a touchdown. Need one for flex, T.Y. Hilton, no. Harry Douglas, Daniel Herron, Josh Gordon, Andre Williams. I think Douglas will still be heavily involved even if Julio plays. Rams or Lions? Already answered that several times. Rams. Gordon or Moncrief? Can't rely on Gordon at all in your championship game with that quarterback situation. Go Moncrief. Andre Williams or Kerwin Williams? Can't like Kerwin Williams at all against the Seahawks. If Murray doesn't start, would use Randall over the other two. I expect Murray to go. Is Hilton definitely out? If so, Moncrief is a steal at 5,900 on draft on FanDuel. It's looking like he won't play. If Julio and Ty are out, Julio looked like he was going to play. You're going to play either Moncrief or Douglas over Forsett at flex. Warning: Forsett hasn't hit a bit of wall. He's been a workhorse back before. He's never been a workhorse. I know, maybe analyzing it, you are overanalyzing it, championship or bust. You don't bench Forsett in your championship week the way he's played this year. Tucker, Prater, or Barth? Barth. Uh, I'm going to stick with Tucker there. I think that offense is going to be very busy today. Kyle Orton or Sean Hill? I think Sean Hill gives you a better shot at more than one touchdown pass. Harry Douglas, Jarvis Landry, or Amendola? I definitely would use Amendola. I think Landry is your safest. Kelvin or Fred Jackson? Love Fred Jackson against the Raiders. Detroit or Buffalo? Buffalo is my number one defense of the week. Packers or Pats? New England's a better unit. Any news on Hilton? It's not looking good. He's looking doubtful. Uh, I will play Charles Johnson as the safest of your rest. I have Jeffrey and Hilton, LaFell and Moncrief is available. Who should I play? I'm going to go with LaFell with Edelman out against that Jets pass defense. Any advice? Go for the players on teams you'll be in the Super Bowl fantasy playoff league at work. Kelly, come back to me in about a week. The playoff picture's got to shake out first. Trust Julio if he goes, or go with Douglas or Vincent Jackson. Don't trust Julio. Who knows if he'll even finish the game or how effective he'll be. Go with Vincent Jackson. Good matchup against those Green Bay corners. If DeMarco Murray is a no-go before the early game, I play Matt Asiata or Randall. Right now, it looks like Murray's going to go. Josh Gordon, Roddy White, Kelvin Benjamin, Kenny Stills, or Harry Douglas. I would definitely go Roddy White against the Saints. Herod or Martin, definitely Heron safe for play. Emmanuel Sanders or Martavis Bryant in case Sanders doesn't play. I'm not seeing anything that indicates that Emmanuel Sanders is going to be out. Hold on. Emmanuel Sanders is just an illness. I'm not worried about Emmanuel Sanders missing the game. You're overthinking it. Don't worry about Emmanuel Sanders, Chad. Again, it's very dangerous to overthink in your fantasy Super Bowl. That's what can probably cost you a game more than anything. Kerwin Williams, a Heron, definitely Heron. You're not going to use Williams against the Seahawks. Numbers for Matt Asiata today: 50 rushing yards, a touchdown, 20 receiving yards. What combination do you like better on FanDuel? Seattle and Pierre Thomas Vereen, Miami Panthers and Lamar Miller. I like the first combination better. LaFell, Moncrief, Harry Douglas, or Jeffrey. I'm leaning toward Douglas. Thoughts? With Edelman out, I love LaFell against the Jets. Wide receiver in a flex: Douglas, Andre Johnson, Crowell, Latavius Murray, Jonas Gray, or Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson playing really well. Latavius Murray for touches and upside. Panthers or Texans? Again, I really like the Panthers this week. What do you think about Jonas Gray with blown out this week? I think it's risky. I think he's nothing special. And I can't trust the New England running back. Owen Daniels or Kelsey. I like Daniels for the revenge game, but I'll go with Kelsey. Really stuck and struggling with Ryan versus Stafford. Both great matchups, and Ryan has been hot. Played Ryan all year, picked up Stafford a few weeks ago. Stafford is playing in a very important game with the division on the line, and that Bears pass defense is terrible. I'm going to go with Stafford. ODB in the 7th as a keeper, Trey Mason in the 12th, definitely Beckham. Numbers for Vincent Jackson today: I will say 7 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Vereen or Stewart, I go Stewart. He's guaranteed more carries. Asiata, Jeremy Hill need 2, and Heron. I will go with Jeremy Hill and Asiata for the most guaranteed work and best shots of touchdown. PPR numbers for Mason today: he's burned me the last 2 weeks. I'm a little gun shy. I also have Heron and Vereen. Heron doesn't have much upside, and Vereen's burned a lot of people before. Yes, bald is beautiful, but you're overthinking it. Mason's played well at home, and he's got a lot of upside. Numbers for Mike Evans today. I'll say 5 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. Douglas, Latavius Murray, or Steve Smith. I'm going to go Latavius Murray for the most possible carries and upside. Also, Steve Smith or Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's just been playing better. Okay, we are all caught up again. Kelvin Benjamin and Roddy White. Just love the matchup for White against the Saints. Boom Herron and Latavius Murray. I think Murray gives you more of a guaranteed workload and upside. He has no one cutting into his touches like Herron does with Richardson. Charles Johnson or Douglas. Charles Johnson is playing really well. He's safer. Even if Julio plays, how will Douglas do today? I can't trust Julio to be involved. I think Douglas is at least worthy of being a wide receiver 3. Mike Evans, Emmanuel Sanders, and Josh Gordon standard scoring. Evans is playing really well, and that Green Bay secondary is vulnerable. What do you think about Fleener this week? Should I pick him up? Should I pick up Tim Wright? Wright is way too boomer bust. With Hilton possibly out, Fleener will be more involved. Fleener is definitely the better play. Jarvis Landry or Charles Johnson. They're both playing well. I think Johnson gives you a little bit more upside. Asadia, Vereen, or the remaining wide receiver for the flex spot. I'll go Landry there to be your safest flex. Bernardo Asiata, definitely Asiata. He's getting more touches. Numbers for LaFell. Won't Vereen and Gronk get the ball? Yeah, but so will LaFell. I think LaFell could get patch about 7 balls for 70 yards and a touchdown, at least. Danny, thanks for a great season. 2-year subscriber. Thank you, Danny, for being part of the RotoX Nation. Made the Super Bowl 2 of 4. Thanks again, Danny. Thank you because we can't be here without you. Who slots into the wide receiver 1 slot if Hilton out, Nix or Moncrief? Probably Moncrief. I couldn't see Nix doing that. He's just not capable. Watkins or Vincent Jackson and Daly, definitely Watkins. Vincent Jackson, I really like his matchup today. Wide receiver in a flex, Harry Douglas, Jarvis Landry, Dan Herron, Marquise Wilson. I think Douglas for upside, Landry to be safe. What do you think of Carpenter's today's kicker? Do you need to go look on the waivers? I think you're overthinking it. Carpenter's been a pretty solid kicker. If Douglas is a wide receiver 3, what is LaFell? Wide receiver 1? I'd say he's a wide receiver 2. Carolina, Arizona. Again, Carolina is playing really well. Much better shot of getting turnovers than Arizona. Seattle has turned the ball over a lot. Numbers for Harry Douglas today. Again, 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. From Prager, how you doing? How you doing, boy? You crispy eye critter. Prager. Don't you say nothing about that Prager. All right, we're all caught up again. Andre Johnson and Charles Johnson. I think Charles Johnson has been is safer. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it. Charles Johnson's been playing really well. Moncrief for LaFell. I think LaFell is safer. They both have pretty good matchups, but LaFell has been a real Brady favorite. And has had a nice breakout season. I feel better with LaFell. Moncrief or Andre Johnson, definitely Moncrief for more upside. Andre hasn't played too well this year, and you got the quarterback change. No Joe Hayden today for Cleveland King. Does that change your opinion about him and Roddy? Uh, Roddy's playing in a high-scoring game against a very vulnerable pass defense. I'm going to go with Roddy White. Will Julio Jones definitely play today? We don't know that for sure. Should know in about a half hour. Check the homepage, The Expert Eye with Tim McCullough. Uh, I'm expecting him to play. I wouldn't use him necessarily because who knows how effective or he can be or how long he'll last. Flacco, Eli, or Alex Smith. Definitely Alex Smith against a very vulnerable Steelers pass defense. This could actually be the week where he throws to a wide receiver for a touchdown. The three, Forte, CJ Anderson, Jeremy Hill, or Trey. That's where I'm going to bench Jeremy Hill with a tough matchup. Latavius Murray, Martavis Bryant, Crowell, Heron, Mike Wallace, and Flex. Latavius Murray for the most potential touches and upside. Here, Sanders is under the weather. Should I replace him at Flex? No. It's just an illness. These things are never really anything to worry about. Don't overthink it. First year subscriber coming back again next year. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much. Can't be here without you. Happy holidays. By the way, great show for daily gaming purposes. Go right now to fantasysportsnetwork.com and check out Fantasy Sports Today live from Las Vegas. Harry Douglas or Charles Johnson? I'll go Charles Johnson. I think you can burn Cortland Finnegan, and he's playing well. Bridgewater's playing well, too. We may play through Week 17 and redraft through Super Bowl. Which teams lets up the fewest points? That's wacky, K-Mac. Indy versus Tennessee or Houston versus the Jets? I like Houston versus the Jets. If Jones is out, looks like Jones is going to play. Douglas over Vincent Jackson. Roll with Vincent Jackson regardless. I like him against the Green Bay secondary. Vincent Jackson or Mike Evans. In that case, I like both of them, but I think Evans always gives you a better shot of a touchdown. All right, we're all caught up. If Buffalo gets the lead, Oakland will give up on the run. Worry about Latavius Murray's production. I think you're overthinking it, Carol. Buffalo's not the type of team to blow people out, and their run defense is not that good. From K-Mac, follow you at ESPN. Thanks for the help and hard work. Sorry, it's Houston versus Jacks, not just. Still like Houston. K-Mac, thanks a lot and happy holidays to you. I really appreciate it. Forte of Pierre Thomas. No way would I bench Forte for Pierre Thomas. That is matchup over analysis. Thanks for all the advice on your radio station. Lots of hosts are going away from taking running backs in the first 2 rounds. What are your thoughts? I think it's where you pick and who is available. I don't think it's absolute. If Le'Veon Bell is going to be there next year at the spot where I'm going to take him, it's hard to pass on him. He's young and he's a crux of that offense. Romo or Big Ben? I think Big Ben gives you more upside. Why do you keep calling him Big Ben? He's not a clock. E2 from T.Y. Hilton, Odell Beckham, Julio, Harry Douglas, and Josh Gordon. Does look good for Hilton. Belton is a must. Beckham's a must start. Can't roll out Julio, too risky. I would go with Harry Douglas. I think he still gets heavily involved. I'm nervous about starting Charles Johnson over Douglas. Charles Johnson's safer. He's the number one target in that passing game, and Bridgewater's playing well. DeAndre Hopkins set to play versus NFL Network. Still don't like him a whole lot with Case Keenum at quarterback. Thanks, K-Mac. Okay, let's see. Even if Julio plays, is Douglas still a decent play? Yes. Like I've said several times, who knows how effective Julio can even be if he's going to finish the game. I think Douglas will be heavily involved. Russell Wilson and Ryan Tannehill. Wilson's the better fantasy quarterback, period. Witten, Bennett, or Dwayne Allen. Like Dwayne Allen to be best shot of a touchdown and be more involved with Hilton possibly out. Let's see. Need two. Heron, Asiata, Fred Jackson, Ingram. Ingram is a must start there. Could score more than once and like Jackson against the Raiders. Do you still like LaFell over Benjamin? Yes. Jets pass defense is awful. Latavius Murray or Fred Jackson. I love the Jackson matchup against the Raiders. And he's a little bit more versatile than Murray. Definitely more versatile than Murray. Murray's got more upside, but I love the matchup for Fred Jackson. Golden Tate, Roddy White, or LaFell. I like all three of these, but I like Roddy White in that really high-scoring game. You need one wide receiver: Gordon, Moncrief, Charles Johnson, or Stedman Bailey. I think Charles Johnson's your safest play. You want to swing for the fences, though, go with Moncrief. Douglas or LaFell. I think LaFell's more involved in the offense. Love him against that Jets secondary. Jonas Gray, C.J. Anderson, or Harry Douglas. C.J. Anderson's a must start. You can't trust any New England running back. Go with Douglas. Murray, Crowell, or Harry Douglas. Not sure which Murray you mean, but I like DeMarco or Latavius best there. Forgot to add I'm up by 39 points from last week. Still Douglas at wide receiver or Julio Wallace. I wouldn't change my mind based on that you're up 39 points. I still go with your best players. You're overthinking it, CM. It's still Murray over Heron. I'm not changing my mind based on that. I gave you advice on your best players, CM. You're doing what a lot of people do in their fantasy Super Bowls. You're overthinking it. Just go with who I advised you. You've done your best by starting your best player. It's if Julio is out, Douglas or LaFell. Julio's going to play. I still like LaFell against that Jets pass defense. Two running backs for Le'Veon Bell must start. Latavius Murray, Rashad Jennings, he's out. Joseph Randle, Trey Mason. I'll go with Le'Veon's obvious must start. Love Trey Mason against the Giants. Do you still go with Fred Jackson over Benjamin with Hayden out? Yes, it's still a pretty good pass defense. I love Fred Jackson against Oakland. Pick two: Brady, Rogers, or Breeze in his weekly pick 'em. Based on I like all of them, but Rogers, the Jets do have a tendency to play New England tough, so I'll go with Rogers and Breeze. Some people are calling this Rex Ryan's personal Super Bowl. Benjamin or Dez? No way do I bench Dez in a big game for the Cowboys. They can clinch the division. Need three from Demaryius Thomas must start. Dez Bryant must start. Can't use Julio. Can't trust Josh Gordon. I'll go with Harry Douglas. Again, everybody's asking Harry Douglas, even if Julio plays. I don't believe that Julio is going to be that effective. The guy didn't practice all week, so I'd still count on Harry Douglas to be involved. Pick two between Lamar Miller, Steven Jackson, Jonathan Stewart. Can't trust Steven Jackson. Too touchdown dependent. I would bench him. Numbers for Big Ben this week, I'll say 275 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kelsey or Julius Thomas, I think with Thomas now with a week back under his belt, gets back involved in the offense and gives you a better shot of a touchdown. Need two non-PPR: Latavius Murray, DeMarco Murray, Jonas Gray, and Crowell. Got to go with DeMarco Murray now that he's going to play, and Latavius Murray gives you a good combination of touches and upside. Thanks for the help. What are some of the things I should do in the off season to get better? Uh, what should you do to get better in the off season? I would just make sure you keep up on the latest player news, and read much non NFL non fantasy coverage as possible to further educate yourself. Listen to stuff like Sirius XM NFL Radio, etc. The more you learn about real football, the more you can apply it to the fantasy game. News just broke that Julio's active. Thanks, Jay. It still doesn't change my mind about his outlook. All right, we're all caught up again. Need three in a PPR from Dez must start. Cobb must start. Then it comes down to Emmanuel Sanders and Benjamin. I'm going to slightly lean towards Benjamin. Packers or Rams. The Rams are the best defense in fantasy football. Tucker or Barth. Tucker's pretty reliable. Who's the better play for New England running back, Vereen or Jonas Gray? PPR definitely Vereen. They might use him to offset that aggressive Jets front. Best option for defense: Rams, Bengals, Carolina, Texans. The Rams are the best defense in fantasy football. Josh Gordon, Moncrief, or Bailey. With T.Y. Hilton unlikely to play, I'm going to go for the home run with Dante Moncrief. Need one of these. Crowell or Latavius Murray. Murray guaranteed more touches and has more upside. Douglas and Charles Johnson. Would you start Johnson in both? I think one league has nothing to do with the other. Charles Johnson's playing really well. He's safer. I'll go with Charles Johnson. Pats or Ravens. Gotta like the Ravens against Case Keenum. What are your top rated kickers this week? It's kind of a dart throw, JP, but Goskowski's always up there. Vinatieri. I thought Parkey was going to do better. And I think Hauschka's up there too. Thank you for all of the help, Adam from Buffalo, 3-year member of the RotoX Nation. I'm in 2 of the fantasy championship games. Daily winnings have been my beer money. You the man. Happy holidays. See you next year, Adam. Thanks a lot. You don't have to wait to see us next year. We'll be doing a lot of off-season stuff, and don't forget fantasy baseball. Vereen, Heron, or Latavius Murray. Murray's the safest there. Most touches, most upside. Latavius Murray, Justin Forsett, or Jeremy Hill need 2. Forsett's a must start, and I'm going Jeremy Hill to be busy on Monday Night Football, due to game script and game flow. Talking about upside, Latavius Murray, don't the Bills swallow the run? I don't know where that's coming from, Prager. Have you watched the Bills recently? No insult intended, Prager there, but look what Eddie Lacy did to them last week. Buffalo's good against the pass. They're not nearly as good against the run. Thanks for your help. I made the Super Bowl again for the 5th straight year. Win it, Red Baron. you guys. If Hilton plays, not looking like he will, so I'm going to say go with Stills. Uh, love the matchup, and I'll go Moncrief, who becomes a much better play with Hilton out. Harry Douglas, Alshon Jeffrey, Moncrief need 2. I'll still go with Alshon Jeffrey if Clausen throws a touchdown pass. That's where it goes. And I'm going to go with Moncrief with Hilton not looking good. Fred Jackson or Crowell, definitely Fred Jackson liked the matchup a lot against the Raiders. Buffalo and Detroit defense. Buffalo was my number 1 defense of the week. They're playing at a championship level on that side of the ball, and they face the Raiders. Read that D'Angelo Williams will play in emergency situations. How will this impact starting Jonathan Stewart? Not at all. You're overthinking it. When a guy's only going to play in an emergency, that means you probably won't see him. An emergency situation is if Stewart gets hurt and knocked out of the game. It's not an emergency situation. Don't worry about it. Again, people, don't overthink things. That is what can really torpedo your chances to win a Super Bowl. Stop overanalyzing. Just go with your best players, and you give yourself the best chance to win. Thanks for the show with you and Adam, but I'm wondering why the executive doesn't talk much on the show anymore. I think El Guapo, you didn't listen to the show this week. With Hayden out, does that move Benjamin over Evans and White? No. Love White in a high-scoring game and Evans against that secondary. Gio Bernard or Fred Jackson? Definitely Fred Jackson. In line for more touches and love the matchup against Oakland. New England or Green Bay? New England's the better unit. Is there any way Knicks outperforms Moncrief? I doubt it. Why is Denver moving to passing to rushing more? Excellent question. I think they really realized after last year's Super Bowl that they need to be more physical and they can't rely mainly on the passing game. They're going to have to play physical defense and run the ball to win the Super Bowl. Ryan or Romo? Got to go Ryan in what should be an even higher scoring game than the Dallas game. Okay, let's see where we are. Um, Cook or Donnell in a standard league. No way can I use Donnell the way he's been playing. Corella, Lamar, Miller. I think Miller's a safer play. Trey Mason or Joyke Bell, half point per carry. In that case, I would go with Bell for more guaranteed volume. Do you think Reggie Wayne will do good with Hilton out? No. He's battling a triceps injury, not looking healthy at all. What do you think Antonio Brown, Megatron, and Jordy Nelson would do today? I think Megatron, is going to have a huge day, maybe 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown held under 100 yards, maybe a touchdown by a good pass defense. Jordy's going to have a super game. Really going to bounce back. Fleener or Allen? Allen gives you a better shot of a touchdown. Is more primary in the pecking order. Seahawks or Bills? Love both of them, but the Bills are my number one defensive play. T.Y. Hilton and Alshon Jeffrey aren't great choices. Who to play, LaFell or Harry Douglas? I'm going to go LaFell against that very weak Jets pass defense with Edelman not expected to play. Everybody, thanks so much. It's been great doing this with you this season. If you have any questions for Week 17, use email advice and ask for me. It's been a terrific season. I wish you all best of luck in your Super Bowls and happy holidays to you and your families. I'm going to miss this all during the off season, and thank you for being part of the RotoX Nation.